This morning, we make sense of that apology by one DP Rigathi Gachagua. The question is, does it look like a man who is alone or is fighting a war, knowing very well that he's not in the plans for 2027? We make sense of everything this morning. This is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaga. Thank you very much for choosing to begin your day with us right here at Lookuptv. We are online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I myself, I am at Kiaga Simba. Once we come back, your newspapers. Azad, all right. Let's then look at the Daily Nation this morning. It's talking about job losses as 140 state farms to go. That's according to President William RUTO, who's saying that, some workers then risk losing their jobs in a renewed push by the government to merge or wind up parastatals that are performing similar functions or draining public coffers by being perennially in the red. Stories has been covered on page 4 and 5. It's okay for us to look at the details of that particular story then, because if you look at this particular headline, it means that indeed even these bosses are going home if the state decides to wind up these operations in majority of these parastatals. And that particular story that's been covered on page 5 here is that there are 290 number of parastatals in the country, and indeed the list has not been released yet. But if you look at the 3.7 trillion investments the government has pumped into the loss-making commercial state corporations, the return on investment has been a paltry 5 billion. And this is not viable, and there's no way the government will keep on pumping money into them and also paying for their losses. The source told Daily Nation. If you look at that picture, then you will see all these mature persons and chief executive officers of disparate status that were getting addressed to yesterday by the president. So that is one darkness that they're walking into. Hopefully we keep on making sense of this particular story, but you're going to read it on page 4 and 5. There's a story here on an audit has revealed a grim reality of maternity hospitals in a county. Story has been covered on page 10. And there's a story here of rent shock for civil servants living in government houses. Now, a housing PS, Charles Hinga, tells Parliament that he has written to the Treasury seeking approval to review the rents for government's 56,892 units that have remained unchanged for the last 23 years. Story has been covered on page 6. All right. On story on page 3, there's a story here for one president, 2 first ladies meet Senegal's Bassirou Faye, who's the new 44-year-old president for Senegal. We're going to read that story on page 3. And page 2, talking about how half of young Kenyans would rather start businesses than seek employment. Story has been covered on page 2. There's a story here on page 50 to 51 on Duale's shakedown gets the iconic WRC Safari rally going. That's it. That's the Daily Nation this morning. There's also a story here on how Alama's public schools failed to acquire science kits. That's on the back page of the Daily Nation. On our school equipment that is essentially supposed to be taken up by public schools has not been acquired yet by majority of these institutions. Well, the Standard this morning is talking about faces of Shakahola's horror killings. For the first time, Kenyans are able to see the victims of the Shakahola massacre, from young children to women and men, as a somber mood engulfs families thronging Malindi Hospital mortuary to collect bodies of their loved ones. And you can see the faces there, and I'll read them for the sake of this particular story. There's Isaac Nzanongala, Raphael Temba, Christopher Were, Judith Farasi, Elnampa, and Brenda Chiang, many more as well, you know. And there's a story here of Stephen Muiti and his children who were seen in this foul picture. All his children died while their mother, who was rescued, was charged in court. It's a sad, sad story of the Shakahola killing. And you're going to read that story on page 3. There's a story here on schools closing earlier. It's a week earlier. Some public secondary schools will close this week, a week early, in what head teacher says a move to ease financial burden owing to delayed capitation money. You're going to read that story on page 4. The story on higher rent for civil servants' houses. You're going to read that story on page 6 on the Standard. And the man who essentially lives two lives in the red in the US, rich investor in Kenya. Story has been covered on page 2. KQ is narrowing its losses now to 22 billion. Story has been covered on page 24. And there's a story here on page 6. Who will it be? Kalonzo Karua battle. Story has been covered on page 6 on the Standard this morning as well. Back page is the ongoing safari rally in Kenya, Thursday 28th to Sunday 31st March 2024. So Easter break essentially comes good for those who want to go and enjoy this particular competition, isn't it? As it this morning we take a look at the stories, some of them in our big conversation shortly, and also majority of the stories have been covered on our website on www.lookuptv.co.ke. Once you're there, like, subscription, and comment is all we ask for as we come back. Your newsroom. President Dr. William RUTO has issued a stern warning to underperforming parastatals, saying that their time is up. RUTO directed the government, including state corporations, to live within their means, saying expenditure must never exceed revenues collected. Addressing government parastatals, chairpersons and chief executive officers on prioritizing efficiency, capping pilferage, wastage, theft and corruption at State House, RUTO emphasized on the importance of accountability and operational efficiency within these entities to ensure they carry out their duties effectively. Let's take a look.
President William RUTO has threatened to close down loss-making government institutions over the next 3 years if they don't turn around their fortunes. The head of state has also ordered parastatal chief executive officers to cut their current budgets to 30%.
Those institutions that are making losses, they have no plan, they have no intention of doing anything. Please, we will shut them down. We will get the employees to go and work somewhere else. And we just stop making the losses. At least we will stop making the losses. And I want some of those institutions to volunteer. Because if you don't volunteer, some of them should tell us, hii institution yetu tafadhali fungeni, sisi tutafutie kazi mahali ingine, tuende tufanye, alafu ndio Wakenya wawache kupoteza pesa zao. I mean, it's just we have to be honest, good people. We have to be honest with ourselves. You know?
President RUTO was addressing chairpersons and CEOs of state enterprises at State House Nairobi when he said some agencies have been making losses for years and have become a drain on the treasury.
We must deal firmly and decisively with pilferage and wastage and theft and there's so evident corruption, we must firmly and decisively deal with it. It is the only way we are going.
While he regretted that the misuse of public resources had become so rampant that it was hampering service delivery, RUTO directed that government budgets and expenditure would henceforth be subjected to rigorous scrutiny. The move to reduce expenditure, he said, will stop unnecessary borrowing and accelerate the government's transformation agenda. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Metropolitan National Sacco has been put on the spot for allegedly embezzling 12 billion shillings belonging to teachers from Busia, Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties. The teachers affected are now accusing the Teacher Service Commission of working with the Sacco even after they submitted a withdrawal letter to the commission. They now want money owed to them returned. Mevin Getembe reports.
Following Bungoma Senator David Wakoli's request to have the Teachers Service Commission (TSC) and the Metropolitan Sacco, which is accused of embezzling teachers' funds, appear before the Senate Trade Committee, Wakoli sought to understand why deductions cut from Bungoma teachers' pay were directed into a Sacco accused of embezzling 12 billion shillings.
Vile taasisi ya Metropolitan Sacco ambayo imekuwa ikiwakatalia walimu share zao ama asilimia za fedha zilizowekwa katika taasisi hiyo, ama vile kupata mikopo ama kuchukuliwa mikopo pasipo idhini yao. TSC imejitoa muhanga na kujieleza kwamba yeyote ambaye huandika barua inapofika wakati mwafaka hupewa nafasi na kusonga.
The teachers, however, accused TSC of working with the Sacco even after they submitted a withdrawal letter to the commission, now wanting the Sacco to provide insights into how teachers will recover their money from the embattled National Sacco.
Members, especially from Bungoma, have got no confidence in this Sacco. Just to mention that, like the current management, the leadership, the CEO right now, whoever that is there as the CEO, his couple, the spouse, was mentioned rampantly in the report that was out on fraudulent. So because of that, as members, we still have that fear that whatever that happened might happen again.
Appearing before the committee, TSC on Tuesday announced that it had halted the Sacco deductions from the teachers from Bungoma County. The Sacco said to have run into problems 3 years ago after some of its members realized that they were unable to make any withdrawals from the savings.
The check-off facility, the Commission developed the third-party guidelines to govern its relationship with third parties, who include banks, SACCOs, unions, hire purchase firms, and others. The overall objective of the guidelines is to streamline and regulate the management of the payroll.
Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv.
Moving on, traffic came to a standstill in Nakuru CBD as hundreds of doctors went on strike across town, complaining about their ignored grievances. As our Onesmus Musonye now reports, the doctors are accusing Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nyakumencha of politicizing health matters in the country.
As the doctors' strike entered day 13 today, hundreds of doctors from over 200 medical facilities in Nakuru took to the streets to lament oppression by the national and county governments. According to Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, South Rift Branch Secretary Stephen Omondi, the protest was meant to call the government to action, noting that the public continue to suffer as the medics strike over issues that could be resolved within a day.
We began our strike on the 13th of March after giving a 7-day strike notice. It is now day 13 of the strike, and on the issues that we highlighted in our strike notice is what we have given to the county. Today, we plan for this peaceful demonstration.
Omondi said that the union has had several meetings with the authorities on the way forward, but in the end, nothing happened and the CBA of 2017-2021 has never been implemented. Omondi accused Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nyakumencha of politicizing health issues.
And several meetings have been done. It is just promises and promises. And we have a Cabinet Secretary that takes health to be a political field.
Meanwhile, in Eldoret, In turn, nurses awaiting deployment next year have faulted the Kenya National Union of Nurses, KNUN, for taking a laid-back position in the ongoing debate to have medical officers' remuneration reviewed. They have further accused the Union Secretary General Seth Panyako of putting party loyalty ahead of interest of nurses in the country.
Kwa hayo ambayo wanasema, sisi wenyewe tuko na mashida zetu na tunataka tuwasiliane. For example, the KNUN government Panyako, you have not actually helped us in strategizing what you're supposed to do. You have left us high and dry.
Onesmus Msonye, Lookuptv.
President William Ruto has announced that China has approved 13 billion shillings for Kenya to support 70 TVET institutions with state-of-the-art equipment. This is in line with the government's commitment to strengthening technical and vocational education to enhance the country's capacity to offer practical training. He made the remarks Tuesday during the centenary celebrations of TVETs in Kenya at the Nyeri National Polytechnic.
When we started this journey of TVET, there were less than 40,000 students. Today, I'm very happy that we have 350,000 students in Tibet. Then, as the deputy governor has said, to go to a Tibet institution was almost like a punishment. It had been made to look like that is the place for people who have not done well. But I am very proud that today we have changed the perception. We have changed the branding. We have changed the place of Tibet to the extent that last year, up to 9,000 students who had been admitted to universities chose not to attend the university, but to come to Tibet. Because it has been proven now that Tibet presents an opportunity for practical skills, for people to acquire knowledge, to acquire competencies that have significant relevance to where we want to go as a people. The strategic design of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda is to accelerate economic growth by investing in its critical pillars in a manner that creates employment for millions of talented, motivated, educated young people.
A family in Matoye village, Kakamega County, was forced to spend a night in the cold after fire razed down their 404 acres of sugarcane. Area Member of Parliament Emmanuel Wangwe visited the scene to offer his support and pledged to collaborate with the community to find accommodation for the affected families.
Nilikuja nikapata moto kama imeshika nyumba mbili hizi kutoka kwa kona huko njia kwa barabara. Pia ilikuja, lakini kumbe walikuwa nasima hii nyumba mbili na hii muti ilikuwa imeshika moto. Muti mrefu ndio kitu ilitoka hapa, alafu ikaanguka kwa hizi mbili tena. Ni watu walikuwa wamezingira zile miwa zingine zile. Alafu wakasima, lakini hii kutoka chochote. Na ile wamejaribu kutoa huko vitu, lakini vingine vimeungulia wote ndani.
Sasa sisi tunaomba tafadhali mheshimiwa wakuje watusaidieko, tujue tutaishi wapi. Tuko tu hivi, hatuna kila kitu. Hata wenye wanapipi wamepaki tu hivyo, hawana kitu. Mwenye alikuwa ameenda kufua blanketi ndiye alipaki tu nayo peke yake. Hana kitu, amepaki tu hivyo.
Hivyo nasema pole, Mungu ni mwema kwamba hakukuwa na maisha ndani ikapotea. Mali ya dunia tutapata nyingine, lakini maisha hatungepata. Kwa hivyo nasema shetani ashindwe, lakini Mungu wa amani naye ametetea uhai wa jamii hii iko hai.
Women from Orinie village in Kajiado County have angrily invaded and destroyed a 10-acre privately owned Miraa farm, saying that it largely contributes to men's unproductivity in the region. They're now calling on local authorities to help them eradicate the use of Miraa and second-generation liquor.
This is what is left of a Miraa farm in Orinie village, Kajiado County. Agitated local women who have been fed up with the Miraa business in the region invaded the 10-acre piece of land, allegedly that the farm has caused a lot of damage in their marriages, claiming that their husbands have neglected their responsibility at home and left others widowed. The move comes after they recently lost a teacher and several others due to abuse of alcohol and Miraa.
Sisi ni wamama kutoka Orinie, tulikuja kutoa hii Miraa ikaapa, imemaliza familia. Hakuna wazee kwa maboma, sisi ni wamama, unatuona tukiwa hapa. Unakuja nyumbani, mtoto hakuna kitu wa kukula, mtoto hayuko shule sababu ya Miraa na pombe.
Kwa hii shamba kuna mogoka, sisi ni wajane kwa sababu ya hii mogoka, wamekula wakapatwa na kanza, wakakufa juu ya sigara na hii pombe. Tumekataa. Tunaomba usaidizi wenyu kama serikali leo muingililie hii jambo itoke hapa.
Elsewhere in Kilifi County, the youth have called for strict measures to regulate the sale of Miraa in the county, terming it harmful to society. Addressing a press conference in Maono Hub in Malindi, the youth have stated that the widespread of cut impacts social and economic well-being, leading to productivity loss, financial burden, and legal issues, and have urged the government to intervene to regulate the sale of cut.
We, the people of the coast region, we demand the national government to come up with regulations yenye inaenda kuban mogoka kabisa kuuziwa the teenagers wenye wako huku mashinani. Na vile county government of Kilifi, it's high time you stop just sitting in your offices, come to the ground and see vile vijana wanavyopotea, vile familia zinavyoharibika. Mogoka tusipoichunga, at in the next election hakutakuwa na watu wa kupiga kura.
Charles, Lookuptv.
Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Abdi Hassan has directed security officers to shoot down an aeroplane flying over Malaso, suspected to be varying bandits in Samburu County. This follows recent attacks that have seen 2 people lose their lives, while 12 others, including police officers, hospitalized. Shamila Baraza reports.
Despite the government's efforts to ensure that security is improved across the country, bandits continue to cause more harm and tension in Samburu County. The recent attack leading to the death of 2 people, with 12 fighting for their lives in Samburu Referral Hospital. Speaking after a hospital visit, Rift Valley Commissioner Abdi Hassan has given immediate order for the aeroplane flying over Malaso to be shot down, saying it facilitates bandits in the area.
They should closely monitor the low-flying aircraft ambayo hiko katika hiyo area, with the possibility of bringing it down, because tunaona hiko connection between hiyo kitu na hawa wakora. We want to monitor it very closely with a view to bringing it down. Na hawatalaumu mtu yeyote kwa sababu amri ilitolewa na serikali. Waziri wetu wa usalama alitoa agizo hilo na amri hiyo akiwa Malaso, na inaonekana wanakaidi amri.
Abdi further confirmed that 1 bandit has been killed, and out of 50 cows that were stolen, 28 have been recovered together with 200 goats.
Wamelete sokomoko, wamelete hali ya taharuki, wamelete wasiwasi, na serikali haina lingine isipokuwa kutumia mabavu kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wanaishi kwa amani. Sehemu ya Samburu imekuwa tete, imekuwa changamoto.
Samburu County Health Officer Nasir Lekudere confirmed the incident, saying that he had received 12 security officers attributed by accident and reserved 4 of them to Nairobi for further medical attention and treatment.
We received 12 patients and 3 patients who sustained injury due to gunshot. We have referred 4 patients, 1 with a mild head injury.
Shamila Baraza, Lookuptv.
Right, that story from Baraza right there. Text us on our first break right here on the Morning Drift. There is a big conversation to follow. We're going to look at issues the majority of Kenyans then are facing currently, as it is. Top on that is what it means then for the political landscape in the country at a time when the famous apology now by one Rigathi Gachagua has opened a conversation on even what really is going to happen within these political factions in the country as we lead up to the 2027 elections. There's also a story building up on Kalonzo and Karua redouble efforts in battle to succeed Raila. The question is, who is it going to be? Questions about how Kalonzo has organized several rallies across the country to show up support, and also Karua wants to consolidate holds on Mount Kenya, then roll out countrywide projects. That plus conversations around how security in our homes is evolving, coming up next after this break.
Buy Credo Chap Chap across all networks bila stress. Go to M-Pesa paybill number 33000 na uweke account number yako na namba ya simu that you want to recharge. It's quick, convenient and hassle-free. In just a few clicks, buy airtime, M-Pesa paybill 33000. Account, your number to stay topped up and connected anytime, anywhere, chap chap.
Tatizo liko wapi na halijatatuliwa bado? Kumekuwa na mazungumzo mbalimbali wa kuweza kutatua jinsi mambo yatakavyokuwa. Shida iko wapi?
We have come to tell the government that no amount of intimidation will deter us from moving. No amount of victimization will deter us.
Nimejiunga na madaktari kusema kwamba Kenya haiendi sawasawa. Kenya inavunja ahadi.
Mbona asitafute mtu mwenye ujuzi, mwenye takriba, mtu anayetaka kusikiza, mtu anayetaka kuongea na madaktari?
That online degree is fake. Na kumencha must go.
Hayo yote ni kwa mujibu wa bunge la wenyeji, sauti yao nipate kusikika.
IUE.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi, na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookuptv. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
Today we have a unique topic we want to share that is entitled
unity of purpose.
The enemy knows that when the church is united, his kingdom cannot operate. And that's why he tries as much as he can to fight people that they may not understand the word unity.
When the body of Christ is united, even these denomination or divisions will subside, will go down, and then the work of God will expand, and as the Bible says, the word of God will increase.
The scripture exhorts us to keep the board of unity.
Yes.
That board of love. We strive to keep it. It is not easy. It's a battle to be won. It's an effort to be put, so I may be able to have it.
The desire of God is that his church be united.
There is a biblical quotation that says, whoever gives to an orphan lends to God. Today was a great day for us. We have received and hosted a wonderful and great team from Tatua Tatu who have come to make a day brighter for these kids and for our beneficiaries.
I thank you, Tatua number 3, for coming. May God bless you, and the gates of Rafiki are ever open, and you are welcome and welcome again.
Next on Tujenge Home.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Speaking of real estate, today we bring you the cream de la cream of real estate.
Karibuni sana Two Rivers, Centum Real Estate, Riverbank Apartments. Yes. Inside the Two Rivers, we have different typologies of housing. We have duplexes, we have apartments, and what you're in right now is one of our first to deliver to market projects. This is more of a luxurious VIP kind of feel.
And it does feel very luxurious.
Yes. Everything is motion assisted. As you walk, the lights come on. Yes. I said we are water reliable. We are power reliable. The rooftop is all a solar farm where we get all our energy needs. We produce up to 1.2 megawatts per day. That's more power than we even need.
Tujenge Home every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
As the night falls, we come to life to bring you a comprehensive broadcast from the numerous events happening across our 47 counties.
When it breaks, it matters, and each story is important.
If it's Thursday, join me, Nancy Lima, and my able panelists as we break down the law jargons and analyze the Constitution in a way only you can understand.
The news cycle never stops, neither does time. We cover each and every sector and present to you factual and accurate occurrences. This is where facts win the day. Join me,
Nancy Lima,
Ian Keitani, Tuesday, every Wednesday,
Thursday,
as from 9 p.m. on The Insight, only on Lookuptv.
University of Nairobi is a distinguished institution of higher learning dedicated to nurturing your intellectual curiosity and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. From state-of-the-art laboratories to modern libraries equipped with the latest resources, we provide you with the tools you need to succeed. Choose from a wide range of programs designed to prepare you for challenges of tomorrow's world. Whether in STEM, humanities, business, or the arts, our strong industry connections and career service support will help you translate your education into meaningful career opportunities upon graduation. Join a vibrant community of scholars from around the world, fostering cultural exchange, collaboration, and lifelong friendships. Book your space now for September intakes. Log in to https://www.uonbi.ac.ke for a wide range of courses to choose from. You can also contact +254 020 491 0000 or email us at pr@ounbi.ac.ke. Buy Credo Chap Chap across all networks bila stress. Go to M-Pesa paybill number 33000 na uweke account number yako na namba ya simu that you want to recharge. It's quick, convenient and hassle-free. In just a few clicks, buy airtime, M-Pesa paybill 33000. Account your number to stay topped up and connected anytime, anywhere. Chap Chap.
Yes, karibu customer. Jambo. Nzuri. Utakula nini leo?
Nisaidie ugali na fry nusu.
Nusu fry hapo na ugali? Yes. Haya.
Wewe, nani amekuitisha hii yote?
Hapana, tulia customer.
Hapana, mimi sitaitisha hii yote.
Huku ukiitisha tunakuongezea bonus juu yake.
Kwa hivyo hii ni bonus.
Your wings just got bigger and better na Loto. Mark your 6 lucky numbers na Loto na ushinde times 20,000 bet yako ndani ya hourly draws. Kila siku kuna guaranteed jinue bonus times 10,000 your bet. The more you stake, the more your bonus. Jipange pia ndani ya Loto na shopping vouchers worth 100,000 na a brand new probox kila wiki. Kila Wednesday and Saturday kuna up to 200 million ndani ya grand mega jackpot. Changamka, jinue na Loto. Ingia M-Pesa paybill 777-000. Account Look. Amount shilingi 50 hadi shilingi 2,000.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Changamka, cheza Loto.
I&M is a bank that has been in the industry for now 50 years. We're celebrating our 50 years anniversary next year. And part of it was making sure that we're able to give our customers a range of products that are within the market. And so we had those Homes and Garden Expo, and we said we would like also to help our customers acquire units, houses, and also get mortgage products so that they can better their lives. So that we are able to also give the ordinary mwananchi, the Kenyan, an opportunity to own a home as part of their government agenda on both affordable housing and the housing industry. So we have quite a number of products within the market. I'll start with the first one, which is a straight purchase. This is whereby a customer is able to identify a unit that is ready-made, and he pays the developer 10% and we finance the 90% over a very long period of time, depending on the customer's ability to pay. Then we have another product called the remortgage. Remortgage is whereby a customer buys, we are able to buy a customer's mortgage from a different bank, move it to I&M, spread it over a period of time at a very good rate.
We are currently running a better rate than most banks, so customers are running to us. So if there are any customers who are interested, please reach out, because we don't want to give you the rate because everybody will run in. So reach out there, we'll tell you how much it will cost you and how long we can spread it to the repayment. Then we have foreign currency mortgages. These are mortgages that are basically for customers who basically are in diaspora, or even if they're in Kenya, they are paid in foreign currency. The products are US dollar and euro. So if you're paid in euro or US dollar, we're able to give you a facility, spread it up to 10 years, up to the end of the mortgage loan. Yes. I think the other two products that we have are equity release. This is whereby you as an individual own a property and you'd like to get some top up from that particular mortgage. So we charge your property to I&M and give you a top up of up to 70 to 80% of the value of the house. So e.g., if the house is 10 million, we will basically give you roughly 7 to 8 million, depending on your ability to repay, and spread it over a period of between 10 and 15 years. So you're able to use that money to buy another property or renovate the one you are with, or buy a piece of land and build. So we do not ask you much what you do with that money. The issue is that you make sure that every month you pay I&M the premiums for the stipulated period that you've taken the mortgage. Then the last one, which is very lucrative to Kenyans, is a construction loan. So we have customers who own pieces of land in Lolongo, Kiambu, Kajiado, and they've always been wondering, where can I basically get financing to build my dream house? So visit us as I&M. We're able to give you a construction loan up to a maximum of 20 years, depending on the ability to pay. So we finance you 80% of the construction cost, and then you are able to also look for the 20%, but we finance the 80%. During the process, we don't give you the full amount. We give you in tranches, and we're able to monitor your progress, make sure your contractor is using the right products, because at I&M, we care about our customers. We don't want them to live in substandard houses. So we want to make sure the house they build is a house for prosperity, and in case they like to sell it in future, it fetches the right amount of money. Our intention is to make sure that Kenyans live in decent houses. Kenyans will leave good inheritance to their kids and their future children.
Did you know how Zinawi Real Estate have made families' dreams come true? We've already settled many families in Juja Gardens Phase 1 to 5. And now, introducing Juja Gardens Phase 6, right in the heart of Juja Farm, selling at an incredible 850k only. Secure your plot with just a 30% deposit per 8 of an acre, with all amenities ready and title deeds waiting for you. For more information, visit us at Gituamba Plaza, 2nd floor, Ruiru Town, or call us at 0794 880000. Pata title uitwe bosi.
Come, let us show you place spot to build your dream home in Baraka Garden, situated just 5.4 kilometers from Blue Post Junction along the Thika Gatura Road. Place finest with secure gated community, Majina Stima Eco on-site, Usitans na stories za title deeds ziko ready. Plus, flexible payment plans and financing options. Pay 30% and clear the rest in installments. Get in touch, twende site visit. For more information, contact 0794 333 222 or 0722 668 700 or visit our website www.mahasibuhousing.co.ke. Experience the beauty of Baraka Gardens today.
Pretty much. Whew. So the gentlemen, we've been waiting, are here. I should probably start with asking them why they're late. Yeah, from one who never gets late, we do have Sankara in the studio this morning, and also Sunday's with us as well. Guess what? Without a proper introduction, because I'm going to do a proper introduction once we fully come back to them, I want to tell you exactly what it is that we're waking up to this morning. The president has called all the parastatal chiefs in the country, and he's told them, majority of you are going home, and I want you to come tell us that indeed we are ready for that chop. Good. That is already building up. But maybe just speaking an opinion from the gentlemen who are with us on the set this morning. There's some pictures that I want to show you this morning. Looks like NTSA and the Kenya National Highways Authority is not joking with you anymore. If you do not use pedestrian crossing points and bridges across the country, you're getting arrested as it is. All right, a couple of pictures that I want to run by you this morning, pick a couple of sentiments from them, and also talk about the conduct of NTSA and Kenya National Highways Authority as well in the wake of the accidents in the country. Well, Sheila, if you give us those pictures this morning so that we can get to have a look at them this morning and start with them. That is, it's a developing picture. This is Nyayo roundabout, or the Nyayo area. And that picture is quite creative because back there is a bridge that you can clearly see by the Kenya National Highways Authority. Now let's move on to the next frame in that picture, because it keeps on developing, and you can actually see that where they're getting arrested is just right below the bridge. So majority of Kenyans would rather not take the bridge but cross the road at that particular point. Let's follow that all the way to the developing. Okay, now back in court. And we don't know what. The fine is quite clear, by the way. For those of you who are looking at the website of NTSA, it is 5,000 shillings. That's it. You are treated as somebody who's obstructing traffic. So 5,000 shillings for every other person who was arrested in that particular picture. Well, since our guests came in a bit late this morning, we're going to start like that. Sankara, the way to go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On the NTSA issue, I think it's very right. The Constitution is not a creative convenience. The laws must be followed. That is the picture that we are painting as a country where we love shortcuts than the legal avenues. You cross the road on the wrong side, next to a footbridge, you are knocked. You are the first person to shout on how reckless our drivers. So now, even if I'm on the highway, I'm driving at a speed of, let's say, 70 kilometers. You are coming all of a sudden from nowhere. Where the hell do you expect me to brake all of a sudden, causing traffic obstruction or even serious accidents?
Yes.
Some drivers would just sacrifice you. So it is imperative that Kenyans learn to respect the designs of our highways. They are not designed for decorations. They are designed for safety of the citizens. And what NTSA is trying to do is just trying to remind us that, you know what, for the longest time possible, everyone has been pointing fingers towards this one direction. It's now time for everyone to take individual responsibility. Accountability is the safest way of existing peacefully and progressively in a society.
Pretty much. Sunday, the way to go.
Well, first of all, apologies. We are late again. The jam in this country, in this city, is terrible. I've just witnessed a very funny, just outside your gate here, a very funny accident where a matatu has almost like climbed a tree and crossed the trench into the another section. That's out here.
Yeah.
Very bad, and people are really hurt. I'm glad you start on the same subject of NTSA and accidents. Like my brother says, we should obey the law. The footbridges were there for a purpose. They reduce on pedestrian numbers that are hit and inconveniences. As drivers, we really get into trouble sometimes, because then people expect you to see them
but they don't want to see you. They don't want to see the vehicles. But having said that, I would be surprised if Kenya Highways Authority and the NTSA thinks that that is the priority. They have major priorities. In recent past, we've had a lot of accidents on the highway, where recently we lost children, students of Kenyatta University, going to the coast. That accident involved a truck, a bus and a truck.
Not a pedestrian.
Not pedestrians. We had another accident almost the same day in an area of Bomet, where again we lost about 5 people.
Yes.
It was again a matatu and a truck. We had an accident in Busia. That's almost around the same time. Tahimid and a truck. Right now, most of the accidents that have happened since January, since December, have involved trucks. We would expect something to be said by NTSA and the ministry around trucks, not pedestrians. Actually, I observed 2 days ago. I went on search, Google and all, and TV online, and I realized most of the accidents involving pedestrians happen between 6 and midnight, 6 p.m. at midnight. What that tells you, one possible thing, and also most of them are over the weekends. What that tells you is that there is a drunkard driver or a drunken pedestrian around those times. So a good researched solution would have based itself on what happens within those hours. What happens between 6 and midnight? Because that's when people are hit. That's mostly when our people have come from work, have drunk. The driver is drunk or the pedestrian is drunk. Most of these are knee-jerk reactions that NTSA and our organizations get involved in do not solve the problem.
Yes.
They are meant to pacify the public. After a short while, they'll go back to what they do. While they are doing that, have they also checked to see that they have footbridges in all areas that are required? Or are they just on that where people come from industrial area, coming, crossing? They are actually targeting the Kibera people.
And there are even some dysfunctional footbridges. They are rotten. There's one around the mosque if you move to CBD towards Karioko.
Yes.
There is a footbridge there which is very vital. But looking at the structural outlook of the footbridge, actually it has been abandoned. You know, whenever I travel from Kisumu on a bus, we use that route to get to the CBD. Yes. So I'm pretty much aware of what I'm talking about. And again, looking at the entire fracas, the accidents that we've witnessed in the recent past, it is imperative that we go the way he's suggesting. These accidents, in as much as pedestrian, to me, I think pedestrian also contribute to major accidents in the urban centers. Because supposedly I'm driving and all of a sudden someone moves from somewhere and they believe in the pedestrian mindset is that the driver is seeing me. It is not their business to see the vehicle. They want the vehicle to see them. Abrupt stops, traffic obstruction. Supposedly you are on a highway because the definition of an highway is where vehicles are driven at a higher speed but within the speed limit.
Yes.
I am on a higher speed. You come all of a sudden from nowhere, I want to brake and save your life. Someone was also driving very fast behind me. What happens? They hit, they run into the vehicle. So to avoid all this, the NTSA must not act like a pregnant woman who, whenever she sees something that can, escalate vomiting, she vomits immediately. The NTSA should be very pragmatic and progressive in their approaches. We should avoid knee-jerk reactions. Murkomen and the CS should not wait for Kenyans over 30 to die on the road for NTSA to go back to work. What is the NTSA doing? They are not actually legally employed to wait for people to die to react. Prevention is better than cure. These are words that were spoken way before my greatest grandpa was born. Why don't we prevent? Must we lose lives? And the approach that we are taking is tantamount to a democratic form of government, where we have dysfunctional institutions, weakened systems of implementation, and checks and balances. So NTSA should just be NTSA, but I'm telling them authoritatively that a Kenyan breaking laws on the highway deserves no mercy. Arrest them, charge them, and show them that next time the laws are not a creative convenience.
I wanted to add on dysfunctional bridges.
Yes.
We have the Nairobi University, the bridge under, actually, the crossway, where kids pass from the university to the hostel. You can't go through it. One, it's now dirty.
It is dark.
It's dark. It has water when the water floods inside. It is insecure. And a lot of our kids have been mugged in there, have been raped inside that tunnel. Where will those kids cross over? We have a bridge? We don't. That's the alternative. So my argument actually is that, like, for example, I use the Langata Road most of the time, the new Kibra Road, that link road. All the way from, apart from down where there is a bridge, I think it's for the railway or something. There's no other bridge.
Most of our roads have no footbridges, actually, functional.
So, and these are families that were cut when the road was done. It left some people on this side, and there is an estate on either side. So my argument has been, and I said it here last time, and I'm saying again, we have a president who is overworking. He's doing a lot of work across the country. We have a deputy president who is working. All over the country is working. They've now been joined by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is and Minister for Foreign Affairs, who is all over. We are yet to see our ministers work. The only other minister that you will see out here working is Owalo, chasing the fiber optic cables all over the country, into the TVETs and into the markets. But we have maybe Kitsure Kindiki with the security issues and all over. But most of our ministers are yet to prove to Kenyans and prove to the president why they were appointed.
Pretty much.
And they are not doing their work. And they are making our president overwork. They are making the party overwork, because then we have to defend laziness.
Pretty much. A good note then, because, gentlemen, before we jump into the big issue this morning, doctor strike in the country has entered day 13. That is 13 days of Kenyans actually walking into these public hospitals and missing critical services. Now, let's take a look at this particular story then. Once we come back, we talk about it with Sunday and Sankara right here on the Morning Drift, just before we jump into our main conversation this morning.
Strike entered day 13 today. Hundreds of doctors from over 200 medical facilities in Nakuru took to the streets to lament oppression by the national and county governments. According to Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, South Rift Branch Secretary Stephen Omondi, the protest was meant to call the government to action, noting that the public continue to suffer as the medics strike over issues that could be resolved within a day.
We began our strike on the 13th of March, after giving a 7-day strike notice. It is now day 13th of the strike, and on the issues that we highlighted in our strike notice is what we have given to the county. Today, we plan for this peaceful demonstration.
Omondi said that the union has had several meetings with the authorities on the way forward, but in the end, nothing happened and the CBA of 2017-2021 has never been implemented. Omondi accused Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha of politicizing health issues.
And several meetings have been done. It is just promises and promises. And we have a Cabinet Secretary that takes health to be a political field.
Meanwhile, in Eldoret, intern nurses awaiting deployment next year have faulted the Kenya National Union of Nurses, KNUN, for taking a laid-back position in the ongoing debate to have medical officers' remuneration reviewed. They have further accused the Union Secretary General Seth Panyako of putting party loyalty ahead of interest of nurses in the country.
Kwa hayo ambayo wanasema, sisi wenyewe tuko na mashida zetu na tunataka tuwasiliane. For example, the KNUN government Panyako, you have not actually helped us in strategizing what you're supposed to do. You have left us high and dry.
Onesmus Msonye, Lookuptv.
Kara, if you can allow me, we're going to start with Sunday on this particular one, because he ended on a proper note. He said that some ministers in this country are not working, they're making the president overwork, that we have not seen their impact in this ministry. Sunday, CS Nakhumicha has been called out on several occasions that these are things that she knew were arriving in that ministry before she came in another office, that 2 years down the line is when she's trying to deal with this particular issue, an issue that the doctor started pushing all the way from 2017. Are you going to call her out this morning as well?
No, I won't.
She was not in your list?
No, in Nakhumicha, I've said that ministers overall should work.
Yes.
And many of them should stop loading it on the president.
Yes.
I support the president on his position on the doctors to give them to step back and give the minister and other leaders leeway to sort out the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because kila mtu na kazi yake.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that head of civil service, head of public service, and Honorable Kuria, the COG,
mm-hmm.
the Council of Governors, and Honorable Nakhumicha have been doing their level best to sort out the problem. The problem of doctors is a little bit complicated. These are situations that started in 2017 or thereabout. And the rulings that were made since then, we've had a whole government for over 5 years that didn't address the situation. The issues of interns in this country is very complex because, by the way, the numbers are mind-boggling. You see, you want the interns to be taken in, but you also want interns to be taken in at the amount that you want.
Yes.
Over 200,000 per each. And this is an intern who's not, it's almost an equivalent to a salary of a starting doctor. So it is complex. Then the only request I've had Nakhumicha give the medics.
Yes.
We have heard your cry. It is genuine. It has been recorded. However, allow us to put it in the budget so that we start with the next financial year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you today, my brother, if you went to your boss today and said, I want my salary increased today and now, and I want you to employ 2 assistants of mine today and now, at this scale, otherwise I'm walking out.
Yes. If I started from 2017, I'll walk away.
Yeah, but you see, that was, that's what I'm saying. By then, it was a different system altogether.
Yes.
We know that we've gone through some space that has been very difficult. But now, Nakhumicha and this government are not saying they are not going to. They are only saying, then let us and they have actually involved the Ministry of National Treasury, which has said, we have now put it in the budget for this June. because already the preparation for the budget for 2024, 2025,
yes,
the process has already kicked off. So we are now in April. It is actually the month of May, and June we have it in the budget. That has been the request. The public has not been told the truth. The government has said, true, it is long overdue. The government has said, yes, we need to employ the interns. To engage the interns. However, they have even now, they used to complain about the amount, because it's over 206,000 per each.
Yes.
I don't know how many interns we have in the country. All of them being taken on board at a go. The government has said, yes, we will do it. The only request they are giving is, give us
more time. But on the issue of promotions and insurance covers for all these doctors and even pay rises is a thing that negotiated back in 2017. On that basis, Azimio members of parliament are looking at Nakumincha and saying that indeed it's not a surprise to you, because the moment you walk into that office, I think you were told that top of the issues that you need to deal with from this medics is, number one, there's a CBA that are seated here. There was a mother of strikes in 2017 that led to this CBA that was partly implemented, and now when you walk into this office, the doctors would expect for you to also start talking about it, or partly also saying whether you can implement it. The big blame that Nakumincha has been given this morning or any other time since we started the strike is that you're dealing with this issue as if it's a surprise, that you're quite aware that it was sitting right there with you and you sort of ignored it.
I was privileged to have a glimpse on Nakumincha's face during the press conference that was convened with other ministerial heads.
Yes.
I would say plainly that Nakumincha is neither aware of what is happening in the ministry or putting effort to turn things around.
Yes.
Whenever you take responsibility, I do say and over that government do not expire. When you take over ministry, supposedly today Sankara is nominated to be the Minister for Defense. I will not walk there and start crying. I know very well that I have an Al-Shabaab issue at hand. I have the welfare of the soldiers at hand.
Yes.
I have to know all these things. So that draws us back to incompetency and irregular appointment systems where technocrats are disregarded and hula ballows in the street are picked and staffed in ministries just to fill positions, but not to offer any fundamental and progressive change. Progressive and fundamental have been my keywords because we as leaders of today, our focus should be speaking for generations of tomorrow. Unfortunately, some of these ministers are even speaking of the next election. Their focus is not on the next generation. And dilapidated health care is tantamount to mass murder being committed by the government. It is the prerogative of the minister in charge to ensure that the moment she took over, the first things first, what are pending issues in this ministry? We have a pending CBO. What are the potential risks? She ought to have done SWOT analysis, the strength, opportunities, threats, and etc. of that CBO. Supposedly doctors go to strike. What would happen? It is under Nakumincha that I'm very sure a patient has lost life because of unavailable service providers,
yes,
and she's still pocketing salaries as if nothing has happened. So Nakumincha ought to have ensured that the CBO is enacted. She ought not to have waited for doctors to go to strike for this CBO to be negotiated. And by the way, I'm very much informed on this. You cannot come and behave as if you want to offer solution. Then the first thing you are doing is to strike away some of the fundamental points that were put in that CBO. She's, instead of making a progressive approach by saying this and this is what we're going to employ, a circular is going around from the SRC saying that we have deducted this to this,
Sandy,
You cannot
was
have
that
a
a mistake?
dialogue.
And I'm sorry for cutting you short because we got to get Sandy's view on that as
That
well.
is not- it has
that
not
within the negotiation, this circular comes up.
No,
so
some of them is cooked up.
Yes.
So, let me tell you, Sankara.
Yes.
We are dealing with a case of 3,752 interns across the country. 3,752. Out of the 3,752, 849 are medical
interns, yes.
across cadres, oncologists, pediatricians, what have you. We have 290 pharmacists who are interns pending to be absorbed. We have about 73 dental officers, degree holders, waiting, interns waiting to be. We have 1,125 degree holder nurses, interns waiting to be absorbed. We have another 1,145 clinical officers, degree holders, and 1,275 diploma interns, clinical officers waiting to be absorbed. These over 3,000, and all of them currently their take home has been between 15,000 and 80,000, depending with the cadre. Now the part of this CBA is talking about 200,000.
I think the 200,000 may not be
now
right.
Let me tell you, we all of us are live in this country.
Yes,
and we know that
for some of them it is a max of 200,000.
A max.
It's
That's
a max
what
of
I'm saying.
200,000.
Yes.
So not all of them will be.
Not all of them, but I'm
yes.
saying, like especially for the 849. And the dental 73.
And the ministry did release this money, minus the 1.2 billion that the doctors are asking for, because they released 3.6 billion thereof. They didn't release 1.2 billion.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You see, when we have to be sensitive to the fact that we got into this government at a very wrong spell, very low spell. The economy is just now peaking.
No, don't put that card. William Ruto was the deputy president. When this CBO was signed in 2017, William Ruto was the deputy president. You cannot lie Sunday.
Sunday, the question that we should be asking.
I wanted us to be a little bit factual.
We are factual. That card of we getting into a government at the wrong time should not count at this moment, because William Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, has been the DP for at least 10 good years. This CBO was signed in 2017. He was the second in command.
Is that a factor,
It is not very right to come.
Is that a factor?
It's not because his Baba was actually the de facto deputy president.
You are now
since 2018. If that is the way he wants to go, I thought we are going to deal, because we know Raila was the de facto deputy president of Uhuru. Since 2018.
That is what it is.
And that the government was actually ministers used to run between State House and Capitol Hill.
Guess what we do? Sunday we go for tiny breather, because gentlemen, today we have to rush against time so that we can talk about what it is about talking about here this morning. We take a tiny breather. Once you come back Sunday on this particular issue, I'll give you time so you complete on it, and also weigh in on the president's move now. Is already told 290 CEOs in the country and chairmen of different parastatals that it's time to go. If you're making losses, you're not making profits, we're coming down to rein in on your parastatal. It's gonna go, or we're going to merge you, or all of them are gonna go home, the CEOs and chairmen, so that all the employees in these parastatals are gonna be given different jobs in government, in functional institutions, all in the name of austerity. Once we come back, I'll be reading to you some of the lists of those parastatals that have been making losses, and the president is telling them, look here, be honest, come tell us, we are making losses, we've been making losses since we were created as a parastatal, so please send us home. That's what the president is saying once we come back right here on The Morning Drift.
of Nairobi is a distinguished institution of higher learning dedicated to nurturing your intellectual curiosity and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. From state-of-the-art laboratories to modern libraries equipped with the latest resources, we provide you with the tools you need to succeed. Choose from a wide range of programs designed to prepare you for challenges of tomorrow's world. Whether in STEM, humanities, business, or the arts, our strong industry connections and career service support will help you translate your education into meaningful career opportunities upon graduation. Join a vibrant community of scholars from around the world, fostering cultural exchange, collaboration, and lifelong friendships. Book your space now for September intakes. Log in to https://www.uonbi.ac.ke for a wide range of courses to choose from. You can also contact +254 020 491 0000 or email us at pr@ounbi.ac.ke. Come, let us show you place spot to build your dream home in Baraka Garden, situated just 5.4 kilometers from Blue Post Junction along the Thika Gatura Road. Place finest with secure gated community, Margina Steamer Eco on-site, Usitans na stories za title deeds ziko ready. Plus, flexible payment plans and financing options. Pay 30% and clear the rest in installments. Get in touch, twende site visit. For more information, contact 0794 333 222 or 0722 668 700 or visit our website www.mahasibuhousing.co.ke. Experience the beauty of Baraka Gardens today. Buy Credo Chap Chap across all networks bila stress. Go to M-Pesa paybill number 33000 na uweke account number yako na namba ya simu that you want to recharge. It's quick, convenient and hassle-free. In just a few clicks, buy airtime, M-Pesa paybill 33000. Account your number to stay topped up and connected anytime, anywhere. Chap Chap.
Tuko hapa Kaptara, tunataka kusema asante sana RUTO Foundation kwa mambo mazuri ambayo wameweza kutufanyia leo. Wakaaji wa hapa Kaptara, wakaaji wa hapa Salawa, wakaaji wa hapa Mujukuo, mpaka wakaaji wote ambao wanatoka hapa Baringo County.
Naambia RUTO Foundation asante kwa kazi nzuri wanayofanya. Mungu awabariki.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the RUTO Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
KE.
Thank you very much for sticking with us. This is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. We are back at it again. And the president has been breathing hot when it comes to austerity measures in the country. Daily Nation essentially looked at it and said there are jobs that are going to go. But was it the case? Let's take a look at the story then. Sunday and Sankara will be looking at it shortly once we come back.
President William Ruto has threatened to close down loss-making government institutions over the next 3 years if they don't turn around their fortunes. The head of state has also ordered parastatal chief executive officers to cut their current budget to 30%.
Those institutions that are making losses, they have no plan, they have no intention of doing anything. Please, we will shut them down. we will get the employees to go and work somewhere else, and we just stop making the losses. At least we will stop making the losses. And I want some of those institutions to volunteer. Because if you don't volunteer, some of them should tell us, hii institution yetu tafadhali fungeni, sisi tutafutie kazi mahali ingine, tuende tufanye, alafu ndio Wakenya wawache kupoteza pesa zao. I mean, it's just, we have to be honest, good people. We have to be honest with ourselves. You know?
President Ruto was addressing chairpersons and CEOs of state enterprises at State House Nairobi when he says some agencies have been making losses for years and have become a drain on the treasury.
We must deal.
That's it. I mean, the big quote there is, if you think as a parastatal you're making losses, just volunteer yourself and come and say, we would like to go home because we are not making money as it is. In the country, there are 290 parastatals. All of these parastatals have chairmen, they have got boards, they've got chief executive officers. And if you look at, for example, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, I'll give you an example of what Kenya is essentially talking about. Under the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, there are almost, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 parastatals. Under this, we have the Kenya Tourist Development Corporation, we have the Kenya Regulatory Authority, we have the Kenya Tourism Board, we have the Bomas of Kenya, Catering and Tourism Development Levy Trustee, we have the Brand Kenya, Tourism Fund, Kenya Safaris Lodges and Hotels, Kenya Utalii College, and Kenyatta International Conference Center. Some of these have been essentially earmarked also for privatization by the government. Sunday, you said the Daily Nation got it wrong.
You see, what I mesmerizes me about Kenyans is that we are quick to change. You see, the president and this government last year did an audit, and in the report, the president came back to the nation and said many of these parastatals are not going. They are not going concern. They are not bringing in profit.
Yes.
And he suggested that they should be leased out or sold so that they bring in money. Parastatals are essentially an income generating activity for the government.
Yes.
Under the national treasury. Actually, the boss of the parastatals is the minister for finance.
Yes, sir.
And what they do is that they have projected that this becomes the business entities of government. How do you explain, like yesterday when I was at the State House, because I'm the chairman of Kenya Yearbook Editorial Board.
Yes, sir.
And I was there with my CEO, like everybody else. Like I was
Are you going home?
Like I was telling you.
Are you going home?
No,
yes,
I'm not, because my agency has proved its worth.
That's it.
But what we have, the president talked about, it was a sad situation.
Yes.
We were taken through the whole economic situation of the country.
Yes.
Where we got we came in 2022, and where we are at the moment.
Yes.
We are doing well in terms of the dollar has gained over 30 shillings over on a dollar. We have the GDP has come down. Food is now affordable. Fuel is now affordable and on. But the government is still pumping over 3 trillion into parastatals to make them, to sustain them. But what comes out of it is not commensurate. And most of those parastatals are parastatals, like about 79 of them, or 80 thereabout, are actually parastatals that are not supposed to be, they are not just service offering, but they are actually business entities. Talk about KPA, talk about Kenya Pipeline, talk about KICC, the ones that were meant to do business and bring in money. It has been a very sad situation that also over 40, I think was it 44 billion of the order, what we call these pending bills. Yeah?
Parastatals contributed.
Yeah, is also owed by parastatals. So the president is right.
Yes.
He's saying, yes, we cannot continue on this trajectory.
Yes.
Because the most stupid thing is to do the same thing, same way, expecting different results. So the headline, in fact, the headline I can see here on The Nation is not the headline that we were supposed to have. The headline was supposed to be austerity measures. Because the government called us, the president called us, the cabinet, the deputy president was seated, and it was a question of austerity. Like I told you, there was no time wasted. The president was seated on time. People were seated all full on time. We did not, the president, our general president, did not even give us a cup of tea. Why? Because it was
should we lose more money on losers?
Yes.
Why should we lose more money on losers?
Somebody said.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It was about austerity. It was not about job losses. Because he even said that for those people who are working there, they won't lose jobs. They will be transferred. Those Kenyans will be transferred elsewhere. He didn't say that Kenyans will lose jobs. All he said is that those organizations that are losing money, public from the public money, should actually now either be privatized or be close shop. But going back to what you talked about, the tourism sector, I am with you. That for sure some of those organizations are there's a lot of duplicity, and it may not be only in tourism. We could still find it in transport sector and many others, where you find things that could be done. By even in agriculture, you would find organizations. Why can't seeds also be processed by the cereal board that processes the fertilizer? Why can't some of them there could be some bit of merging so that we maximize. But what was most critical yesterday were three things. Austerity austerity measures on all organizations. We were told to cut down on this quarter. To cut down 30% of our recurrent budget. That was major. The second major thing that needs to be on the headline was that the profit making, those 79, 80 parastatals that are profit making, all of them, they have been remitting about 50% of their income to the treasury, and the rest cannot be accounted for. They have now been ordered 80%
of the profits,
of all the profits, and even the 20% that remains with them, it was directed. It was government policy. It was directed even before they spend the 20%. They again have to get an express from treasury. Thirdly, is regulatory organizations, the NEMA, the Tourism Regulatory Authority. Those ones that go out to pick fees from people, they like the levies and what have you, and they get money from government, from public. Surely, this is fees from public. Why can't you remit it? So the directive was 90% of your collection. 90%. And they used to remit like 50%, and they keep the difference, and they say they want to use it for, the president was very explicit, repairs, new buildings, laying cabros. He said no new cabros. No new repairs for 1 year. And that was the story.
Pretty much. Guess what, Sankara, but I'll give you an example again, just to continue talking about how we have duplicity in majority of these ministries in terms of the parastatals that they fall under. We have the Kenya National Library Service, especially under the Ministry of Sports and Heritage, that has almost 9 parastatals. I will read for them. We have the Kenya Film Commission, we have the Kenya Film Classification Board, we have the Kenya Academy of Sports, we have Sports Kenya, we have the National Youth Council, National Library Service, and the National Museums of Kenya. But then, if the story is about austerity, It should have been about even how this meeting was conducted. Somebody asked online, how much did it cost all these 290 gentlemen, could have been more, to sit at the State House yesterday for a briefing that the state could have just sent an internal memo to all these ministries. Somebody said, is it about austerity? Did the president need them now to talk to them about this? If you're making a decision as a government on austerity, not just about not give them tea, just like and they didn't get it yesterday, should have been about how you're communicating this. Same example, that we didn't see them go to the State House for us to be told that the Kenyatta International Convention Center was actually getting privatized.
Sure. So let me be very clear, Simba, on some particular terms that we are using. Maybe our viewers outside there do not really understand what we are talking about in entirety.
Yes, I can.
You know, a parastatal is a government business agency. The sole purpose of a parastatal is to do business on behalf of government. The moment you do business, you must make profit or losses. All these financial implications must be very clear and verifiable. Number three, except for the agricultural sector that the government has successfully merged into a food agency, the rest still play duplicate roles. And I'm a procurement officer by profession. We believe in value for money spent. Every coin must count. So even accountants will tell you that there must be, any amount of money spent must be accounted for tangibly. So we cannot have a parastatal in the name of doing business on behalf of government. And when we look at government expenditure and the pending bills, you still come in as a liability. The parastatal should be a government asset, not a public liability, where we have to dip into our pockets and still finance them. So the austerity measures in economics, these are economic policies that are implemented by the government to do two categorical things. One is to reduce government expenditure and also reduce the, how do you call it, the budget deficit. Shrink that the budget deficit. Because the budget deficit also arises from these spending bills that are being brought forth by the dysfunctional parastatals, which are replicating roles or duplicating roles. So, in my own opinion, far from politics, because the fall of this nation is my fall and the fall of my family, I will laud the president on this, because when you look at circumstances under which privatization, merger of parastatals can suffice, when losses are being made, and that's why we asked him, when he wanted to sell off KICC, that Mr. President, you are telling us KICC, you want to privatize them. Well, we know the concept of privatization is an evolving matter. We just need to know how much has KICC been able to remit, how much was the projected income, and what do you call a loss? Those mathematical figures were not there, so we rubbished it off as a mere attempt to amass public wealth illegally, and also foreign interference. You know, IMF draws the structural operations of our economic running of the government. So we wanted to know how much we are losing. But the president now has come clear and said, we have all these parastatals. Almost, let me say, 60% of you are making losses. We have to fund you. We cannot fund you to do business, then you bring us losses. Why don't we close you down or merge you? So I think reducing or addressing the cost of living, I said, and I've always said that the cost of living is not a political pronunciation. It is an economic doing. Whatever the president is trying to do today is actually translating to lowering the cost of living. Let me give William RUTO credit for the first time. And this is not, it's unconditional. So the cost of living, because you know, our government has been spending more than it can raise. That is the truth. So when we are cutting down on expenses, then we are really going to try to address the cost of living. But not unless also we see the loopholes where a parastatal like the NEMA. You know, you cannot build even a toilet in this city without NEMA's approval. They will come. That approval is not verbal. It is fee-oriented. You can't collect money from me and say you can't transmit these funds. And that also begs the question on how functional is our institutions. Because if the president just launched the e-payment system to enhance transparency in remittance of government revenues.
Yes.
And then here you are telling us we are closing because you've been unable. I think we really need to employ things that are practical. I am a believer in practicality. But on this matter, let these people go. And I want to laud the president for denying Sunday and the team tea. We cannot spend more money on losers. You are making a loss and you still want to be. In fact, if we are techno-service society, the president ought to have conducted this meeting virtually. Yes, we had I think OWAL has been running left and right and center, connecting fiber optic cables in the villages where people don't have smartphones. I think you would have employed that technology, because even by them coming to Nairobi, it's an expense. We don't need them to spend even a single coin extra. We want to minimize on that expenses, because our responsibility is to ensure that we cut down on expenses, because once we seal these budget deficits, we will ask the president, why do you want to borrow? Because we don't have the deficits. Why do you want to borrow? So this is a long-term economic strategy that is going to ensure economic sustainability of our government. Reduced spending, overtaxation. As you see, Kenya Kwanza government has overtaxed everything. Now they are introducing the tax on bread and milk and waiving tax on choppers. I don't know how many Kenyans can buy chopper, misplaced priorities, but all in all, we want reduced expenses. We want reduced opulence. We want people to live within their limit, within their means. Not a government officer spending more than the parastatal can earn. What is he doing in that parastatal? Close that kibanda. Let him go home.
Guess what, gentlemen? Finally then, let's jump into the topic that we have this morning, and we only have, I think, 15 minutes to go through it. Sunday, let's begin like this. Rigathi Gachagua looks like a changed man. All of a sudden, he's here apologizing to the former First Family. Actually came out publicly and said, I am sorry, Mama Ngina. Is there more to that apology, or it's just us trying to read so much into an issue that has got nothing to do with the political landscape in the country?
I think we've been discussing much more serious things, like now the economy and the transport sector, and now the corporations that should shape up, and the way we want to go, and how to sustain this economy. The president has a deadline that he imposed on himself, that within 3 years, he wants us to be on a zero deficit budget. And he repeated that again yesterday by telling Professor Ndungu and his team that he doesn't want to hear of supplementary budgets and borrowing money to support our budget. So for me, that is a more very good discussion. We have, sorry I said about 440 something, it's actually 446,000 I think, or 446 point something billion pending bills that we need to pay, and that's a lot of money. We need to find how to pay. We have both local and international debt to deal with. Those are more progressive things. About who forgives who and who talks about forgiveness, for me it is an issue. But now that you talk about it,
it's an issue.
It's an issue really, because these are individuals. If you abuse me today and I say sorry, it's about my way to heaven. My relationship with my God. You don't forget that the spouse of Rigathi Gachagua is a reverend, is a pastor. She's a woman of God. It's a house of believers. And they know that they shape up their relationship with their God. Secondly, yes, like Sankara says, we are in, this is what makes the differences about with Kenya, between Kenya and other places. If you go to Uganda today, the hatred that Museveni had with that young man,
Bobby Wine.
Bobby Wine. It is still prevailing. They've not mended. What he had with the old man, Besigye, is still there in many years. If you go to South Africa, Malema and Mzee Zuma, theirs is still the same.
Yes.
If you go to everywhere, all these people, what makes Kenya different is that after every election,
yes,
we don't spend time. We find time to reconvene and rebuild the nation.
Yes.
And that is what is happening today. The Raila Amolo Odinga does not have a problem going to State House to discuss with the president. Today, Raila Odinga and the president can go and visit their neighbor na wanachunga ng'ombe pamoja huko Uganda because it was not enmity. It was just politics. And that is what the country is in a mood of reconciliation.
Why now?
We have seen, in fact, by the way, you're talking about that in Kakamega in particular.
Yes,
we are witnessing that. The other day, Salasia of Mumias East had a bone to chew with the governor Baraza. Today, they are working together and doing politics together and doing Harambes together. Those are things that are going on all over. And what we are seeing is that we are having a country that is uniting, that is reconciling with itself for the future. What does, after winning election and becoming the second most powerful man of the land, Rigathi Gachagua has nothing to lose if he decided to remain adamant. But for him, it's about reconciling the nation, bringing people together,
yes,
and finding peace where there is. And I think Kenyans should not read too much in it, but should celebrate that this is a country that is capable of reconciling itself.
Yes. Sankara, you got 3 minutes to sort of go behind the apology of one Rigathi Gachagua. 3 minutes, please.
Rigathi Gachagua's apology to Mama Ngina is a political apology. He doesn't take it, it doesn't come out genuinely. Rigathi, just like the president, are battling popular legitimacy over parliamentary majority. You can dominate parliament, but you can't dominate people against their will. So in Mount Kenya, which I didn't want to speak in my show because I'm a Laker, but we are Kenyans.
Yes.
Gachagua is finding it rough because they personalized their campaign agenda on individuals and negatively. They painted Kenyatta family as land grabbers, thieves, and people who took what they didn't deserve from the actual sons of Mau Mau. And Gachagua called himself the son of Mau Mau. I don't know who's his father. I don't know whether Gachagua Senior was a Mau Mau fighter. That is subject to discussion next time. But all in all, what I'm trying to say, politics is dynamic, and Gachagua is now learning it roughly. With the handshake between President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, something that most of the UDA acolytes will not agree to, for Ruto to accept to support Raila in AU race, the handshake is done and dusted. And now Gachagua with these traps in State House, he found Raila moved those traps with a magnetic spark and they are no longer functional. Now Gachagua going back home, they personalized their campaign on Uhuru Kenyatta, Mama Ngina and Jomo Kenyatta, who died long time ago. Now it's time to to speak the truth, and the economic policies that have been patronized under the leadership of Gachagua as the second in command is now biting business owners in Mount Kenya. Look at the avocado tax policy, look at the finance bill. All these things were sold out by Kimani Ichung'wah and led team, which are acolytes of Kenya Kwanza from Mount Kenya. So the people are resenting against punitive tax measures. But just as I said, austerity measures also encompasses over-taxation and reduced spending. So this tax policy is rebuilding resentment in Mount Kenya. Gachagua, fearing his political future, he wants to paint himself as a clean man who is bringing together Mount Kenya together. We should ask ourselves, Mount Kenya is not divided. It is the political mindset of Rigathi Gachagua who thinks Mount Kenya is divided. Those Kikuyus are brothers. They call themselves Kamwana. They are together. So Gachagua is doing this to galvanize the vote block in Mount Kenya. Unfortunately, it may be too late, and we appreciate God for everything that has transpired in Kenya. We are moving towards a scenario where truthful men, like he calls himself the DP, the truth will have to chew them live. There is no escape route. So the apology is meant to who voters. Unfortunately, with this exacerbated economic pains and chest pains basically in Mount Kenya, Gachagua is going to find it tough in 2027. And just as I say, most of the leaders focus on the next election. We as genuine leaders, we focus on the next generation. He is addressing Mount Kenya unity, not because he is interested in uniting Mount Kenya. He is interested in uniting Mount Kenya for elections and not for generational prosperity. So I don't take it like there is something. Those are innuendos, and I don't even call Gachagua a prodigal son. A prodigal son was accepted back home. I don't know whether Mama Ngina will accept Gachagua, but again, in politics, nothing is permanent. Friendship is based on interest, enmity is also based on interest. So as long as you have clashing interest, you will be deemed as enemies. As long as you have marrying interest, you are friends. Today, Gachagua is still reasoning using the 2022 election manual, which has expired. There is a new manual in place. The policies are being drafted, and he's just feeling like I'm being left at the stage. With my straps in State House, everything has bypassed me. I have to reinvent. Politics is really an art of reinvention. That is what I've learned in about Raila Amolo Odinga. He is a man who never expires. The moment you think he's too down, he re-emerges with another strength that is unimaginable, and that is what Gachagua is trying to do. Although our former Madeira MP has a long way to go, politics is not a cake-cutting ceremony. It is his time to bite his pride.
Sunday, we're stepping out. That whether we like it or not, when it comes to the politics of kingpinship in the Mount Kenya region, Gachagua has to play it right.
Yeah, and but you see, Gachagua is defending nothing. Gachagua is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And secondly, why would we choose to single out Gachagua? We don't want to see the president reconciling with Joshua Kutunyi, who actually abused him all through the campaign, and he's now in his government, and many others who wronged him, including Mama Nani, the former senator of Eldoret. What is her name? Kamar. And Kamar right now. Kamar right now is in this government, and many others. Sabina Chege is working with the president, gets to State House more times than some of us can do. So what we are saying is that it is the policy of Kenya Kwanza, and it's the policy of the president, and it is his duty as the symbol of unity of this presidency to unite the country and bring people, all of them, together.
Sunday says it's a done and dusted conversation. Guess what? We're going to bring him back to analyze the language of one DP Rigathi Gachagua and even the body language around his collection when it comes to Mount Kenya. Does he really have a battle in Mount Kenya when it comes to kingpin politics? Or is just an apology, just like Sadi says? I mean, he's a man from a religious family. He's got to apologize to make things right. Guess what? This gentleman did make the full discussion time today. Hopefully next time we'll be sitting and having a proper discussion around these particular areas. But that's a snapshot this morning. Guess what? We take a tiny breather. Once we come back, I'll be talking to you about home security and just where we are, what you need to know, and companies around Kenya that are already in this deep conversation once we come back.
Did you know how Zinawi Real Estate have made families' dreams come true? We've already settled many families in Juja Gardens Phase 1 to 5. And now, introducing Juja Gardens Phase 6, right in the heart of Juja Farm.